cultural bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Maricar Velasco delivering to you. Vice President Leni Robredo on Monday, November 18, gave the assurance no sensitive information will be disclosed. Cambodian opposition figure Kem Sokha, freshly freed from house arrest, will still stand trial for treason, strongman Premier Hun Sen said Monday. 100 Thai elephants take part in battle reenactment. Vice President Leni Robredo on Monday, November 18, gave the assurance no sensitive information will be disclosed. Robredo made a statement after President Rodrigo Duterte warned she would be fired if she revealed state secrets. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo earlier stressed President Duterte can fire Vice President Leni Robredo as Interagency Committee on Anti-Illegal Drugs co-chairperson on the ground of disclosure of intelligence reports on anti-narcotics campaign.
Yung assurance naman lahat na sensitive information hindi i-disclose.
Liberal Party President Senator Kiko Pangilinan defended VP Robredo.
Maring isiwalat at yung kung ano ang confidential. So, sa palagay ko, hindi na kailangan yung hindi na siya kinakailangan sa pagsabihan. Well, kung gusto nilang magkaroon ng maayos na tulungan, dapat pati yung informasyon, they should be able to share it.
Earlier, Robredo asked for documents containing classified information and later met with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes, among others, to discuss the drug war. Malacanang on Monday said the drug czar designation accepted by Vice President Leni Robredo is not a cabinet position. The discretion to appoint her as a member of the cabinet, in addition to her appointment as the illegal drug czar, lies with the president, according to the presidential spokesperson and chief legal counsel Salvador Panelo. On November 5, Duterte has put into writing his offer to Robredo to help his administration's aggressive crackdown against the illegal drug trade. In a memorandum dated October 31, Duterte designated the vice president as co-chairperson of the Interagency Committee on Anti-Illegal Drugs until the end of his term on June 30, 2022. Robredo's spokesperson Barry Gutierrez, however, said it remained unclear whether the vice president's designation is a cabinet position, since it was not indicated in the memorandum order signed by the president. Panelo previously mentioned that all government offices and instrumentalities involved in the enforcement of the law on illegal drugs will be placed under Robredo's command and supervision with a cabinet secretary portfolio. In an interview with reporters on October 31, Duterte himself said he would give Robredo a cabinet position so that she will have the authority to take over all drug-related agencies and bureaus. Panelo even said Robredo could start attending cabinet meetings without invitations. Robredo, however, insisted that she would only attend cabinet meetings upon official invitation from the palace. The designation of Robredo was made following demands by critics that enforcement powers should be given to Robredo through official correspondence. Cambodian opposition figure Kem Sokha, freshly freed from house arrest, will still stand trial for treason, strongman Premier Hun Sen said Monday. Kem Sokha, 66, is the co-founder of the banned Cambodian National Rescue Party, which was dissolved ahead of widely criticized elections last year. Arrested in 2017 and accused of plotting to overthrow Hun Sen's government, he was detained first in a remote prison and then under house arrest before his bail conditions were relaxed last week. The court closed the investigation into his case on Friday, but Hun Sen, who has ruled Cambodia since 1985, clarified Monday he would still face trial. The case would take a long time to finish, he added, also offering a veiled threat to other opposition members not to run into walls. Kem Sokha is currently banned from leaving Cambodia or taking part in political activities. After meetings with a number of foreign envoys to Cambodia, he posted Friday a message on Facebook calling for national reconciliation. Rights groups say Cambodia's legal system is completely controlled by Hun Sen's government. Sokha's political partner Sam Rainsy, meanwhile, returned to France over the weekend after attempting a highly publicized comeback for Cambodia's November 9 Independence Day. Rainsy has lived in France since 2015 to avoid jail for convictions he says are politically motivated. He promised a dramatic return to Cambodia but ended up waylaid in Malaysia and Indonesia with other CNRP officials. Hun Sen last week ordered the release on bail of more than 70 opposition members and activists that authorities accused of helping Rainsy return. Dozens of suspected Indonesian militants have been rounded up after a suicide bomber linked to the Islamic State group killed himself and wounded 6 others in a police station attack last week, police said Monday. Some 45 suspects have been arrested since the Wednesday bombing in Medan on Sumatra Island, while 2 bomb makers were shot dead during a raid, according to authorities. National Police spokesman Dedi Prasetyo said the pair resisted arrest and tried to attack police with sharp weapons and an air gun. Prasetyo added they had built a low-intensity bomb that the 24-year-old attacker strapped around his body. Authorities had earlier said they suspected the bomber was a lone wolf, following the blast that wounded 4 police officers and 2 civilians. Police stations are frequent targets for radicals in the world's biggest Muslim-majority nation, which has long struggled with Islamist militancy. About 20 other suspects arrested since the bombing, including the bomber's wife and the couple's religious mentor, played what police described as direct roles in the attack and had links to Jamaah Ansharut Daulah. The outfit is a local extremist group that has pledged allegiance to ISIS and carried out previous attacks, including suicide bombings at several churches last year that killed a dozen congregants. On Monday, some residents in Medan protested plans to bury the bomber's body in their city. The police station attack was revenge for earlier militant arrest by Indonesia's elite anti-terror squad Densus 88, Prasetyo said.
November 23, we are opening our doors to you for the ultimate EDSA experience. Enjoy performances from your favorite OPM artists and meet our talented reporters, hosts, and DJs too. Experience hosting, reporting, camera handling, and more in our interactive booths. Visit exhibits of various products, innovative business solutions, and even job openings featured in our trade fair. For small and medium enterprises, learn tips and tricks at the Business Forum on entrepreneurship and technology. Also avail of fast and hassle-free services from our government agency partners such as the PSA, SSS, Pag-ibig, PhilHealth, and more. Admission is free, so bring the whole family, learn, dine, and experience the EBC Open House and Trade Fair. EBC Open House and Trade Fair is sponsored by LBC Express Incorporated, Becky's Ice Cream, Royal Care Marketing Services, Ayala Land International Sales Incorporated, Nature Spring, Just Payroll, Andox Lechon Manok, TEMPRA, by Taisho Pharmaceuticals Philippines Incorporated. Go Hotels, Manila Airport Road, North EDSA, CUBAO Ermita and Timog. Micaela, bags, shoes, wallet, and umbrella. Style meets versatility. And PLDT Enterprise.
Net25 shows live and on demand anytime, anywhere, on any mobile device on OSN Play.
Welcome back. Boeing said that it was working closely with regulators to make the necessary changes to grounded 737 MAX aircraft to ensure their safe return. The model has been grounded since March following the second of two crashes, which left a combined total of 346 people dead.
As we look to the future, though, we're working hard, guided by the regulators, to make improvements and changes to the airplane, to make changes to the training of the aircraft so that the airplane can safely return to service. I can tell you we're working towards those goals, but ultimately the schedule for all of those activities will be determined by the regulators, so we're taking their lead.
The FAA, which has been widely criticized for entrusting certification of important systems of the aircraft to Boeing, has promised a thorough review before recertification. On Tuesday, the FAA said it expected the airplane to resume flying in January, delaying its return by 1 month. However, on Friday, United Airlines said it had pushed back its expected date for 737 MAX aircraft to return to service following similar announcements by rivals Southwest and American Airlines. The U.S. air carrier now says it expects flights to resume on March 4, 2020, 2 months later than previously estimated. Boeing said this week it hoped to get regulatory approval for a return to service before the end of this year, but has delayed its estimate for the resumption of commercial flights until January to allow for pilot training. The 737 MAX crisis is one of the most serious in Boeing's 103-year history and has already cost the company tens of billions of dollars amid multiple investigations by U.S. authorities and complaints from victims' families. President Rodrigo Duterte and South Korean Ambassador to the Philippines, Han Dong-man, discussed ways to strengthen investment cooperation between Manila and Seoul, Malacanang said on Tuesday. The plan was raised when Han paid a courtesy call on Duterte at the palace's music room on Monday. In a press statement, the palace said Ambassador Han first presented his letter of credence to President Duterte on January 17, 2018, introducing his plan for the Philippines geared towards boosting investments. It added recently the South Korean envoy pitched for the creation of a Korean town in Malate, Manila, in coordination with the city government. Duterte and Han's meeting came prior to the president's scheduled visit to South Korea to participate in the commemorative summit between Southeast Asian leaders and South Korean President Moon Jae-in in Busan from November 25 to 27. During a courtesy call on Duterte, Han was accompanied by Minister Counsel Ors Kim Jang-yoon and Kim Sun-young, KEPCO Philippines Holdings Incorporated President and Chief Executive Officer Kim Jong-in and Korean Air Regional Manager Cheo Lee. Also present during Duterte's meeting with Han were Department of Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr., Undersecretaries Manuel Antonio and Benito Bengzon Jr. from Tourism, and Foreign Affairs Assistant Secretaries Maynardo Montelegre and Juniver Mahilum West. The FA Association of Southeast Asian Nations Affairs Office Director Reginald Bernabe and Asia and Pacific Affairs Office Acting Director Johan Veronica Andal also graced the event. South Korea is the fourth largest trading partner of the Philippines, with bilateral trade increasing by 9.4% in 2018 to $15.6 billion US. Han has been urging South Korean firms to invest in the Philippines in a bid to spur economic growth in the country. In October, Han also offered to create a Korean town in Malate, Manila, when he met with Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Domagoso. Philippine Secretary of Labor Silvestre Bello III graces the opening of Philippine Overseas Labor Office in New Zealand. A dialogue with the Filipino community leaders was held to address concerns affecting the Filipino migrants. The Filipino community was grateful to President Duterte for promoting the well-being of the workers. Our EBC correspondent in New Zealand, Greg Besa, is on with the story.
Philippine Overseas Labor Office, commonly known on its acronym POLO, operates under the supervision of the Philippine Department of Labor and Employment. It is mandated to protect, defend, and promote the well-being of overseas Filipino workers at their respective job sites abroad. Among other things, it undertakes activities on matters that are directly or indirectly related to the workers' employment, including their protection from any form of discrimination and exploitation. In New Zealand, there are thousands of overseas Filipino workers who are being employed at various sectors and industries across the country. Upon recognition of the crucial role of POLO in addressing the issues and concerns affecting the Filipino migrant workers, the Philippine Embassy in New Zealand, along with the Filipino community leaders and the workers themselves, had been longing to be having a POLO in this country. After a series of collaborative undertakings between the governments of the Philippines and New Zealand, and between the Department of Labor and Employment and the Department of Foreign Affairs through the Philippine Embassy in New Zealand, the long wait is finally over.
Of our Philippine overseas
No other than the Philippine Secretary of Labor and Employment, Honorable Silvestre Bello III, graced the launching of POLO New Zealand on 17th November of this year, which was held at the Philippine Embassy in Wellington. This historic occasion was witnessed by other Department of Labor and Employment officials, the embassy officials and staff, and the Filipino community leaders. On his speech, Secretary Bello emphasized that the establishment of POLO in New Zealand is a gift from the Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte to the Filipino migrant workers in the country, whom he has valued and loved so much, just like the other overseas Filipino workers across the globe, due to their significant contribution to the Philippine economy. He also expressed his gratitude to the Philippine Embassy in New Zealand, particularly to Ambassador Jesus Domingo, for all the assistance extended in making the establishment of POLO a reality. The Administrator of Philippine Overseas Employment Administration, Honorable Bernard Olalia, who was also present during the launching, expressed his confidence that the well-being of the Filipino migrant workers in New Zealand would now be best served under the POLO supervision.
Ako kami nandito ngayon ay para patayo o itatag yung ating Philippine Overseas Labor Office dito sa lungsod ng Wellington, bansang New Zealand. Ito po ay nagpapatunay kung gaano kamahal ang ating Pangulo, ang ating mga overseas workers, dahil sa inyo po ay napakalaki ang utang ng ating bansa sa inyo. Hindi dahil sa inyong paghihirap, pagsusumikap, ay nakatulong kayo sa ekonomiya ng ating bansa.
Ito ay isang patunay ng patuloy na pagmamalasakit ng ating mahal na Presidente at ng aming Secretary of Labor upang tugunan lahat po ng mga issues at concerns nila dito sa bansang New Zealand. Marami po tayong mga kababayang naririto at dahil po rito, bibigyan po natin ng tuon lahat po ng mga pangangailangan at lahat po ng kanilang mga problema patungo po at about the overseas employment.
On the other hand, Philippine Ambassador Jesus Domingo was pleased with the start of POLO in New Zealand, as he warmly welcomed Labor Attaché Angel Borja Jr., who in return encouraged the migrant workers to avail of the services that POLO could offer to them.
We're very proud to announce the launching of the Philippine Overseas Labor Office for New Zealand and Pacific, to be headed by Labor Attaché Angel Borja. So this is something we've been praying and hoping for the past year. So we're very glad with the leadership of Secretary of Labor and Employment, Silvestre Bebot Bello, who came here personally together with the administrator of the POAA, Mr. Bernie Olalia, and his team to open up. So this is though a soft launching. So at least the labor attaché here is in place, but in the coming days we will announce the full launching of the office. So the actual physical office of the Polo will be located near the Philippine Embassy in Thornton. So please watch out for the department. So this is a big step. So all the services that our kababayan here in New Zealand and Pacific normally before had to avail themselves of through our labor attaché in Canberra will now can be
the Philippine Overseas Labor Office here in New Zealand, and it's now open for business. Our Filipino workers who are here in New Zealand may come to our office anytime that they have any labor and employment related matters that we would like the labor office to provide them with assistance.
Right after the ceremony, Secretary Bello and PUAA Administrator Olalia held a dialogue with the Filipino community leaders wherein problems, issues, and concerns affecting the Filipino migrant workers were discussed. Both officials were thankful to the support of the Filipino community leaders as they encouraged them to work with Polo in promoting the well-being of the workers. Some Filipino community leaders and migrant workers themselves were excited as they conveyed their gratitude to the Philippine government in establishing Polo in New Zealand.
I think it is quite good that we have the Polo here in New Zealand because it will actually help overseas workers that we have in the Philippines, and also we have the capacity to be able to guide all the people that's coming to New Zealand, and also to be able to help those who are already in here and still applying for the visa.
To Secretary Bello and President Rodrigo Duterte, thank you very much for granting our request for having a Polo office here in New Zealand. As we have a growing numbers of OFW here in New Zealand, we need the Polo office to make assistance for the OFW.
Maraming salamat po sa aming Pangulong Duterte sa pagkakaroon po ng Polo dito sa New Zealand. Malaking bagay po sa aming mga OFW na manggagawa po dito sa New Zealand. No? Lalo-lalo na po sa yung nag-a-apply, nag-change employer, hindi na po kinakailangan mag-submit sa Australia. Polo is mainly based in New Zealand. It also has jurisdiction over the Filipino migrant workers in the independent state of Samoa, the Cook Islands, Tonga, and Fiji. Yet, despite the workers' territorial locations, Polo must reach them out and carry out its mandate at all costs. From Philippine Embassy in Wellington, New Zealand, this is Greg Besa. I am and will always be one with 25.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced. Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
Welcome back. 100 elephants take part in the Surin Elephant Roundup, where Maoists, the elephant handlers, show their skill in battle reenactments and playing football. Elephants have to endure a traumatic and painful training in order to be tamed. And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Maricar Velasco and I am 1 with 25.
Ang susunod na programa ay Rated PD. Ito ay nangangailangan ng patnubay at gabay ng magulang para sa mga batang manonood.